We're live.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live from myself, Paul from Host for Ghosts, Angela from South Coast Ghost, Paula and Luke from SCG as well. Tonight, Julia's not on here because she's at a birthday meal with her daughter. So happy birthday, Jodie, from all of us on Monday Night Paranormal Live. Enjoy your meal. So tonight, we had no investigations over the weekend, so we've had a pretty restful weekend, but we've got a few coming up soon. So tonight we thought we'd talk about our bucket lists, where we would like to go and why. So if you have any comments where you'd like to go and why, please send them through and Angela will put them up on the screen and we'll try and answer your questions, as to where you want to go and why. There's lots of places we all want to go, but it's obviously finances and getting there is always a restriction. But if you have any suggestions for us, you should all really go to here, then please by all means send them through to us. We're always looking for new openings to go and investigate. They did one a couple of weeks ago at a gunpowder mill, which was a real one that was found, and they went and done it and had some real good evidence and some real good stuff. So we're always open to new locations. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas, please get in contact, message us, leave a message. So Angela will put it on the screen so we can try and answer it, or try and add to the comment. Following on from that, we were wondering about people's perception of shadow figures and apparitions, and what you've seen and what you felt, or the shadow figures that you've seen. What's your take on a shadow figure? Is it a spirit moving around? Obviously, we know that spirit moving around, but what are we actually seeing? Is it a shadow from there moving around behind us? Is it a shadow on the wall? That type of stuff. So send in your comments so we can comment, and we'd love to hear. We never judge. As we always say, there's never a stupid question. So please don't be afraid to send a question in, because we'll never laugh at a question. We always try and do our best, and if we can't find the answer, then we'll try and find someone that does. So in the pipeline, we've got a few things we're trying to get. So stay tuned. We're trying hard to get an American paranormal group to join us one night, and a few others from the UK. So we're working with them. So we'll try and get them on. They're very interesting. They were the paranormal group I did the podcast to America a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to try and persuade them to come and talk to us English in their very broad American accent. So stay tuned. Let's hope we can get them on, because they got some interesting stories, and they actually work and live out of a haunted location where they are. And when we were doing it, Luca said there's things knocking and banging and boards moving and all sorts going on while we were doing the podcast. So very interesting couple, really nice, lovely people, very good group. Well worth mention the link. They're called Haunted Souls America. So go onto their website, YouTube. They're on YouTube and Facebook. Go and have a look at their podcast. Very, very interesting. So back to us. So who's going to go first? Okay, I get the hint. So the top of my bucket list, if I was to go international, the top of my bucket list would be Waverly Hills Sanatorium in America. It's just the other side of Missouri, about 3 hours from Missouri, so it's quite central into America, because it's the most famous and the most haunted sanatorium in America, and loads of paranormal investigators, TV personalities, all them sorts of people have been there. And the location is haunted. The building is immensely haunted, and apparently it's on another level of scariness. So that's where I'd like to go if I was to go international. Also, this may sound weird, is go to Transylvania.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
And that is just for the Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Very good.
Because that's where Dracula came, or the story, Bram Stoker's Dracula was in Transylvania. So I'd like to go there and investigate the castles and all of that around the Bram Stoker stories. So that would be the second one on my list. Coming nearer home, where would I go nearer home? Edinburgh Vaults. I think
Oh.
it's a place I would head if I could. You know, I have a bucket list, so I will be going to these places as and when I can. But Edinburgh Vaults is one place that I'd really love to do. A very haunted location, very famous location. Where else would I want to go? Oh, Shrewsbury Prison, which is the most haunted prison in Britain. You know, and then Shepton Mallet's the second most haunted. Where else would I like to go? Galleries of Justice in Nottingham, which is very famous, you know, for punishment, all that type of stuff. And the other place I really longing to go is I've forgotten it now. Where is it? Where did you and Darren go at, Angela? What's the forest? Rendlesham Forest.
Yeah.
Because that's very famous for UFOs. And that, you know, if Darren was here, bless him, you know, he would tell you. I think him and Angela went there. Did you? You went, Angela, didn't you?
Yeah, and the kids as well.
Because you were heading up to a rave in the cave, weren't you?
Yeah, something like. I can't remember what the order of events was, but yeah,
Yeah.
3 or 4 things all in a row.
You know, Rendlesham Forest is very famous. I don't know if anybody knows of a UFO landing many years ago. They put in the middle of the forest. I've been there because my sisters live up in the Suffolk area, so they're not far from Rendlesham Forest. And when you go in there, the forest has a very, very eerie feeling to it. It's not like a normal forest you would expect. And where you walk through the forest and the trail, and you come to what looks like a memorial to the UFO landing, which is where they'd say this is where it landed. This is what, you know, but that's not actually the place it landed.
No.
It landed a bit further over to the right. They done it so people don't trample into where it was originally, the UFO landing. It's a very famous UFO landing in Britain, and it was just outside of an American air base.
Oh, wow.
So if you get a chance, have a look. It's a very, very famous UFO sighting. You know, even to this day, nobody really knows quite what happened, you know, and I know Darren enjoyed it when he went there, wandering into the forest, because it has it's one of these forests, and you've got to try it, where you can get very disorientated. It's like your inbuilt compass is affected.
Yeah.
You know, and you lose. Did you go in there with him, Angela?
Yeah, I know me and the boys went all the way round, but he could only manage so far because it was quite a long walk. So he didn't
Yes.
manage to get all the way round right into it.
What did you think of it?
Yeah, I couldn't really get my bearings. I'm not great at that anyway, but it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it came from this way. No, it was over here.
It,
And then other bits feel quite sort of weird and like there was, I don't know, definitely not like a normal forest. It's definitely got like really kind of strange feelings about it.
Yeah, you get very disorientated in there because, like Angela said, when you're standing there looking around, all the paths look exactly the same. So you don't actually know where you came in and where you're supposed to go out. And that's how easy it is to get lost within that. You know, and it's very much like that because you get very disorientated. I'm not sure whether that's just a human body or, you know, there could be some sort of EMF in the ground or something like that that's causing you to be a bit disorientated. You know, there could be lots of ideas, lots of things that could cause, you know, the human body to be disorientated, not necessarily UFO, but it has that feeling of you've disorientated. The other place, Epping Forest, would be my next place, to be honest, and also a place called Manningtree. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's in Essex. It's a very famous tree that Witchfinder General would hang witches from.
Oh.
It's called Manningtree. The village is called Manningtree, but it's got this massive tree outside of the thing. And lots of people say sometimes on some nights they see lots of lights around the tree, bright, sparkly lights around the tree. But that's where the Witchfinder General came from, in the Manningtree area. That's where he started his journey on looking for the witches, honestly. But that's my bucket list, really. There's lots of other places I'd like to go, but if I was somebody offered me sorry, all expenses paid trip anywhere in the world, that's where I'd go. I'd go to Waverley Hills Sanatorium just to say I've been there. I've got frightened. Yes, I did run out. Just to say that I've done that. I've got the t-shirt, got the scariness, and I've left. I might leave a poop trail behind me, but I can say I've been there. But that would be my. Hi, Christine. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight on this night. We're talking about our bucket list of places to go and investigate, and also we're going to be leading into shadow figures and apparitions. People's takes on it. So if you have any comments, please drop them on. We'll have a look, read them, try and comment, or you can come on and drop your bucket list on here so we can see where you think. So that's my top. I don't know, what's that, 5 or 6, I imagine.
Yeah.
If it was all expenses paid, then I would head to Waverley Hills Sanatorium. If I was out there doing that, I'd probably go to Gettysburg. To the Civil War battleground in Gettysburg, which was a very famous war. The Americans, a lot of soldiers were killed in Gettysburg. It's a very famous place, and people often see soldiers walking along the road in their battle dress, and they see a lot of shadow figures in the trees, running through the trees and that type of thing. So, if I was out there for a period of time, that's what I would be doing. Sad to say, but Waverley Hills Sanatorium and then to Gettysburg and just feel the energy of the battlefield of of a many lost souls, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's my bucket list. Well, a few of my bucket list. There's plenty of other places I would go, but you've got to put them in some sort of priority. So that's my one for tonight. So who'd like to go next?
I'll go next then.
Okay.
I've only really got 2, I suppose, but my main one is Skinwalker Ranch in Utah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
good one.
much going on there. So many things happening. You've got like UFOs, UAPs, cattle mutilations, lights, people getting ill, shapeshifters, like big wildcats, equipment all goes wrong, portals, so many things. It sort of covers everything paranormal, really, I think, pretty much.
That's
but you can only get in there if you're like invited by the owner. So I'll have to either be really special, or there's places sort of nearby, like outside, that you can sort of camp and.
How about we email him? Say, would you take a British paranormal group in?
Yeah, well, it's worth a go, isn't it?
It's always worth a try, isn't it? Interesting. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just be amazing to go there. I think Darren wanted to build up his channels and everything, and hope that they saw it, and then we'd get invited over and everything.
Yeah. Nice. You never know. We just keep going. You never know. You'd be surprised how many people watch this.
Yeah.
Now we've been into the States as well, so a lot of people will watch this podcast after we've done it. So you never know. You never say never.
No, exactly. Right, on my list. It's possible.
Yeah.
And then other places are in Transylvania, like you were saying. Because hang on, if I put my glasses on, it makes it. The most haunted forest in the world is in Romania. It's Hoia Forest.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Hoia. Yeah.
It's got UFOs, ghosts hiding behind trees, and a lot of people, when they go in there, they feel nauseous and anxious. And most of the time, electrical equipment fails. And I've seen a couple of videos of people that have been in there, but they don't seem to go in after dark. It's always during the daylight. And even then, they're like, I'm sure there's somebody watching us. I can feel something's happening. And they're just sort of in there like, ah. So even
interesting. I've heard of Hoia Forest. Yeah. I never thought of that one. Yeah, that would be very intriguing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love that.
You'd have to go in the dark, though, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. I know what to expect.
Especially if your torch packed up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a whole different level, couldn't it? Really.
Yeah. Probably a bit of string so I could get my way out again.
You do what people do in the forest. You know, they drop fluorescent tubes,
Yeah.
break the tube and drop it. Yeah,
That's a
they
good
last
idea.
about 7 hours, so you'll always find your way out, unless
Yeah.
somebody behind you picks them up.
Oh, look what I found.
Yeah,
No.
somebody keeps dropping these. Look, I found loads of them.
Yeah, that's something Ben would do. Mummy, look.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god! Now we're lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And the other,
interesting.
there's also in Romania is Corvin Castle,
All
and
right.
it's one of the biggest castles in Europe, and it's said to be cursed by a Turkish prisoner because apparently there was 3 of them in there, and the guy watching them said if they dug down far enough to find water, then they'd be let out. And it took them 15 years, but they managed to get down to the water. But by that time, the guy that had made the promise had died, and his wife wouldn't honour it, and
Oh
she
no.
put them back in as prisoners. So apparently, he cursed the whole thing because of
Cool.
that.
That's interesting.
And it's got a torture chamber there, and they used to have live bears there to at the dead bodies.
Yeah.
And apparently, there was a monk bricked into a wall because they thought he was a spy.
Ah,
And that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how
That's a,
far away from the forest, but it's the same country, so.
yeah, that'd be quite a place, wouldn't it? That'd be very interesting.
mm.
And then
You
obviously
know,
there's Dracula's castle.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Not haunted, but it's just something you have to go and see, really.
Yeah. I mean, we've grown up for many years with Bram Stoker's Dracula, haven't we? And Frankenstein and all
Yeah,
them sorts of things, you know. Gemma said, number 1 on my bucket list, Transylvania. It's funny
Yeah.
how everybody has that.
I like that.
Gemma,
Yeah.
and why is it you would like to go to Transylvania? Tell us in a comment why you would like to go there. I said mine was to go to the castle, your Bram Stoker's castle, which is where he lived while he was writing the story, you know, Count Dracula. And it's just something that's, I don't know, fascinated me in,
mm,
you know, just going there. You know, not like you say, it's not really haunted, but
mm,
you know, it's somewhere where you go in there and say, do you know what? I've actually been to that castle, and
mm.
I've seen a program many years ago. Most Haunted did in Transylvania, and they
Okay.
actually had a shadow walking along the wall. Sorry, I'm just changing on my camera. They had actually, if someone was walking along, they actually had a shadow of a person walking behind them and
Oh
dipped
wow.
down. It wasn't until they rewound the footage after the filming that they saw it, but it was
Mm,
nobody there other than who was it? Was it Carl or Stuart? One or the other were walking along as though they're walking back to the main room, and on the wall you could see this shadow following them, and then the shadow then sort of kneels down and stays hidden as he turns around to look. You see it kneel
oh,
down and hides, and he
really?
carries on and goes out of shot, and the cameraman just catches this shadow disappearing. It's on
Wow.
a Most Haunted Transylvania one.
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought that was very interesting,
Mm,
and they didn't realise they'd caught that until they'd obviously gone back and edited their stuff, and there it was. So they left it into the show. So that
yeah,
was quite.
nice.
So that's mine, and that's Angela's. Anywhere else, Angela? Or
Um, Nowhere in particular, but I do like castles,
Yeah,
basically
like me.
castles and ruins.
yeah, I
Oh,
mean we have lots of castles, don't we? Really.
yeah.
Gemma's put. I always wanted to look at castles so much in history and lots of other stuff around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of castles, you know, you think of dungeons, you think of executions, you know, torture, punishment. You know, in this country, the top of my bucket list would probably be the Tower of London.
I was going to say
Hmm.
that.
That would
That's
be
one of
my,
mine.
yeah, yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
go next then? Andrew, have you finished, or
Yeah, that's me.
do you want to go next? Luke or Paula, whichever one?
Okay, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tower London would love to go. Definitely want to go to Tower London. Notre Dame, I did go see Notre Dame in
Oh,
Paris.
Oh, okay.
I love to go and stay there and see what's going on there, because it's a lovely, fantastic building. It's a shame that we had a fire there not long ago, but I
Yeah.
went before the fire. So I'd like to see, because I do like castles. That's a thing. So I'd like the history. And I went to, when it was my birthday quite a few years ago, I went to Arundel. That was one of my
Oh, yeah.
favourite places. I've always wanted to go there, and that's one that I wanted to go, and I did go there basically, and that is quite spooky, that place basically. So
Yeah.
I'd love to stay there. But it's castles for me, really.
Yeah.
Anywhere, any castle,
I
I'll be
think
there.
Arundel's where we did the jail, isn't it, Angela?
Yeah.
Did we do a jail in Arundel?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
With Paranormal? It was, wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
Arundel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's nice up there.
Yeah, that was an interesting venue, wasn't it? That jail.
Tiny,
But-
but
Yes,
lots
very
of
small.
yeah.
But that was like, I think just off of the high street, if I remember rightly. I'm really not quite sure. The castle was to your right, and it was down on the left, something like that.
Is that
But it
down
was-
by further? Because you've got a walkway, haven't you, with water and everything else? Is it by there? Is it? Which you
No, if you carry on as you come into Arundel,
yeah.
the way I
Go
came in
bridge,
is
don't
it's
you?
headed up the high street. It was like a one-way system.
Yeah.
And as you go up the road forks, if you take the left-hand fork, it's literally there. Is that right, Angela? It's just right on. It's really difficult to find because we drove 2 or 3 times past it and couldn't find it. Eventually, I rung Darren. He came out and showed me where it was.
Yeah.
We just could not see it. And it
That's one of
literally
my
is down a bit of an alleyway.
Yeah, it's my favourite place, Arundel. If I want to go
Yeah.
anywhere, that's where I go is Arundel. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice place.
Because there was a song many years ago, wasn't there, about a man from Arundel? Nick Kershaw sung it. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I know Nick. I remember Nick Kershaw. Yeah.
If you look at that, I'm sure he sung about a man from Arundel.
I'm a lady from Arundel then.
Oh, there you go. And funny we should mention that because I was speaking to someone that's having a bit of a problem in their house at the moment.
Okay.
She was talking to me, and she's learning how to be a hypnotherapist to help people in their journey, and just really help people that are struggling. And she said to me, "Can I just tell you what happened to?" So she said they wanted someone to try to learn how to hypnotize. So they hypnotized her, and she said, "I had the most strangest sensation, a dream." She called it a dream, and she was a maiden in Arundel Castle.
Oh, wow.
She described the castle, the horses, the hay, the doors. She could see everything within them walls, and that was Arundel Castle. And she said to me, "How do I know why that is?" And chances are that it's something from a past life.
Yeah.
Because she had that hypnotherapy was enough to connect it. Heard Highgate Cemetery is worth going. Oh yes, Christine. That's another place, but that's only at certain times of the year, I think, if I remember rightly. And you join a group. They only have 2 groups, one morning, one afternoon, I think. And she said, "Well, how do I, how would I have known it?" Because she'd never ever been. She didn't even know where Arundel was. But she described the city of Arundel, the castle, the gates, and how it looked. And they reckon that the hypnotherapy triggered a past life regression bit in her head. I know Darren was very much into that. And that triggered something in her head that from a past life that she was a maiden there.
Wow.
So that's quite interesting, isn't it? You should say Arundel Castle.
Yeah. Telepathic.
Well, there you go.
There you
So
go.
what's the other one?
Oh no, it's just I would like to go up to Scotland. I've always liked Scotland. There's castles up there. I can't think one of them. A particular one I do like up there. I can't remember what the name is now, but I do like all the castles. So one of them, which was on my list, like I say, was Arundel. I've been there. Tower London, I went there years ago, but then you're not allowed to stay there, are you? So I'd love to go
No.
there. Do you mean that's never going to happen? I've never
Yeah.
even gone anywhere abroad as such. It's mostly in this country, really. It's weird. I wanted to see all these castles and everything else. But yeah, but Paris, it's a nice place. Lot of
Yeah.
castles in Paris,
But
isn't there?
they have the vaults in Paris, don't they, with all the skulls in it.
Yes. Oh yes,
So
yes they do. I've seen
yeah.
clips on that. I've
I
seen
can't
videos
remember what
on
it's
that in
called,
house.
but they
Yes.
have all the skulls in the walls, don't they? If I
Yes,
remember
correct.
rightly.
Well, one of our channels I watch actually, one of these blokes that does the can't think of his name, Secret Vault. It was what I watch and everything else. He's been down there underground and everything else and seen all the skulls and everything else. That's what I
Yeah.
watched basically.
Supposed to
And
be
it's
scary, isn't it?
it
Really
is a bit
scary.
eerie down in there.
But
Do
they
you mean
reckon people have gone down there to explore it and never came out.
Well, they have parties in there. Funny enough, do you know what I mean? Youngsters go in there and have a few drinks and everything else. But yeah, it's down in there, like you say. Oh,
Christine put, I'm off to a sleep over at Shepton Prison on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Christine, you'll enjoy that. I've been to there a couple of times, Shepton Mullet, and I think we're due to do a sleep over there with
October,
Paranormal.
isn't it?
I've got terrible feedback on my microphone, haven't I?
Yeah.
Is it
Can you hear
September
it?
or October, something like that?
September it is.
I think it's September, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're heading there in September, and Gemma's put it would be so good if we could do a big trip together, one and all these places. But I know it would be a lot of planning, a lot of cost, and sure wouldn't be impossible. Just need to organise. We do. You're very, very correct there, Gemma. You know, what we could do is choose a place that we all agree on. You know, that I don't know what's up with this microphone, why it's feeding back. Somewhere that we could all agree on, and then all of us go as a group, you know, as a team, like we are with the Paranation, you know, as a team, and everybody, all of us on here, you know, even have guests come with us and do that sort of paranormal weekend where you could go Friday night, Saturday night, and then, you know, you do a Sunday lunch somewhere where everybody can get over to Saturday and Friday nights, and you know, that sort of thing. So that would be a good idea. Yeah, a lot of planning. There's a lot to it. It's not just a 5 minute. I'll have a look. We'll all go there, because obviously we need to get people in the venue. You need to get people there to sleep. We've got obviously transport for everybody. Luke's has a difficulty with transport. So, you know, it's all that sort of stuff. But don't give up, Gemma.
No.
It's something that we could all plan, you know, with Julia, ourselves, and it's something that we could all plan together and do. You know, we make it cost effective for all of us. So, you know, and travel it, and we can make sure that everybody can travel to and from, and we can all agree to do a place that we feel is special to all of us, and we'll do it. We'll do it. I know our lives are very busy, aren't they? And, you know, we have so much going on in our lives at the time, but it's not beyond being done. I think so, personally.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah. So I'll fly out to the Bermuda Triangle and wait for you out there. Okay? That's a very good point, Gemma. Yeah, I like that. Very good idea. Right. Anything else, Paula, you'd like to add?
No, that's it. That's what I was going to say.
Luke, stop scratching your head. Stop being nervous.
Trying to think now.
Yeah. So tell us what's on your bucket list, Luke, and why.
I know. Don't think you can investigate it, but I like to go to the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Adventures. There's loads of artifacts in there that are quite freaky.
Yeah.
People donate stuff to there as well. They've had problems with. Like there's a guitar. Someone had a guitar and it electrocuted someone. I think. Meant to have like the devil attached to it or something. Because on TV programs I've been watching recently.
Is that connected with Ghost Adventures? Is that Zach's music? Zach's museum? Yeah. He gets all some weird things in there, doesn't he?
Yeah. A lot of things. Charles Manson and like serial killers stuff, like a car or something. I think he has in there.
It makes you wonder if it doesn't affect him, doesn't it?
He said something give him extremely bad nightmares once. He said, and someone had a breakdown in the museum because it affected him badly.
Oh wow!
That was a mummified head from a guy who killed in Scotland because he was doing witchcraft, and then they all executed him. Yeah.
Nice.
So that would be on the top of your bucket list if you could go anywhere.
Yeah, and in England, I'd like to go to Pendle Hill, the witch trial.
Oh, the witches. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very famous hill, isn't it? Pendle Hill in Yorkshire, isn't it?
Yeah. I think up north, yeah.
And why would you want to go there? What would pull you towards Pendle Hill? Gemma's put, you can go on your own, Luke. No way, I'm getting electrocuted. Very funny, very good.
It's been interesting to see about the witches and learn about the witch trials that happen there. And feel the energy of the hills, see how it affects her. Yeah.
And did you know about the tree in Manningtree? You know, the Witchfinder General.
I heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very famous tree that is where he came from. There, can't think of his name now. It escapes me at the moment. I'm tired, but very famous. Yeah. What else, Luke?
Would just don't know, just like to try something in America one day. Like, so I want to experience how if it's any different to over here, like the energy and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I'd like to get this other group on to talk to them. And you've seen the podcast, Luke, you know, and ask them about their experience in the US. You know, how they see, because apparently some of the things that we do here, and like they say on the podcast, is different to what we do out there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when you say to them, you know, the big thing is about the English dialect, how it's changed over the years, hundreds of years as we've gone on. You know, and he said the same thing, didn't he, Luke? He never really thought about that, how the American dialect has changed over the years. So we're asking in our normal dialect now, but somebody from the 14th century, 15th century, would they actually understand what we're asking them? Do they know what we're asking them? Because we're talking different dialect, we've got a different tone to our voices. You know, it's interesting. And he said that they'd never actually thought of that because they've been into old places and asked out questions and never really got any response. And they had a psychic with them, and they said they're standing around looking at you, but they don't know what the red lights are. And then when he explained to them, the lights are here so we can communicate with you and blah, 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 as he was going on, wasn't he, Luke? They actually started to get responses because they understood what they were asking them.
Oh.
So, you know, sometimes we could be asking too much and not really, can you touch the light? You know, that sort of thing, and not really explaining this light is to help us communicate with you so we can hear, see, feel you, whatever. You know, it's not going to do you any harm. Can you please interact? Because we assure you this is not going to happen. It could be that they're there and think, well, how do I know what that is flashing on there? Or, you know, what you're asking me to do something. What's an aerial? You know, touch that thing, and they may not know what that is.
No.
So, you know, we have to take that into account when we go. And sometimes we go back to basics, you know, the writing planchette, boards, if you're allowed to use them. And that just allows they can understand that because they can see the letters. Well, you assume they can see the letters, put it that way. So you assume they can see the letters and the numbers because that's how they communicate. So they're not scared of that type of communication. But if we're asking them to touch red lights and there's a beep and all these elephants flashing and things going off, and you know, it could be they think, oh, stop that, you know, that's I don't understand any of this, and they're off, you know, and the energy drops. But I think sometimes you have just to explain, go on a little bit more depth, and explain what you're using and why you're using it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think it's like when I do the laser grid and everything else, I always show what I'm doing, and so they don't think it's going to hurt them. Do you know what I mean? So I go in there and show them that, you know, I'm in there, it's not going to hurt you, and blah blah. They come back out again. Do you know what I mean? So they know. Because otherwise they don't understand. Do you know what I mean? They just see the light on the shining.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So they don't understand it all, like you say.
Absolutely.
You've got to think of different things, haven't you?
Yeah.
Communicate, haven't you?
Yeah, you're on a paranormal investigation. You're constantly thinking, how can I get them to interact? And like, if I use a laser grid, I run my hand across it, say, look, what we will see is this. You know, you can see it's not going to harm me, and it won't do any harm. Like you say, Paula, it just gives them that little bit. Think, well, actually, yeah, maybe this is all right.
Yeah, I walk into it. I usually do. I walk into it and say, "Look, it's all fine." Blah,
Yeah,
it's like acting like a child, isn't it?
a good logical way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because they see it's not going to harm you.
Yeah.
So what's on your next one then, Luke?
I'm not sure that's what it was really at the moment.
Just the two in America,
or like any other place in America, really, just to see the feel of it.
Yeah, I'd say I'm working on it. I'll see if I can get them to come on and give us their aspect.
Going on in Las Vegas, maybe. You never know, do you? There's a lot happening in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine how busy Las Vegas is at night, and what would have happened during the mafia days there, and you know, obviously lots of people buried out in the desert somewhere, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
You know, and Angela's one I thought was really good was Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, that is a good
You know,
one.
that was a very, very interesting place that you just want to go, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, for the hell of it. Just I don't know what you'd feel or how you'd feel, but it'd be quite a place, wouldn't it? You know, it's a very, very good location, that one.
Mm.
So really, so if we, I know what the time is. We could. Oh, we've got a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
We could stay. We've got to stay till 9 o'clock because unfortunately Paul's got to go. My voice is starting to go, but you know we've got a few more minutes. But that would be my top bucket list in America, or you know, in Europe, and all over the country. Some interesting comments. Thank you for any comments. If there's any more, please send them in. We'd like to know, you know, like Gemma said, maybe one day we can get a big group of us together, hire a big venue, and go for it. You know, have a weekend where we're all in the same energy for the whole weekend, and just make it. And I think it would be quite interesting. My gut feeling would be to go to a castle.
Yeah, good.
You know, I think on everybody's list is a castle. So I think in a castle, I think you'd get a mix of energy. You know, you'd have happiness on the top floor and sadness underneath, or you know, castles hold very huge amounts of energy, don't they? And lost people and torture, and you know, I don't know. You know, the one I've been round in the daylight is Warwick Castle.
Yeah,
You know, I've been round there. That's really interesting place. And a lot of times they hold joust meetings there. You know, would actually had true to life jousting and soldier and how they would have been in them days. It's well worth looking to see if any of that's on. The other place is me and Jen have been is Battle Abbey in Battle in Kent. And that's right on the side of the battleground for the 1066. You know, Hastings?
Yes.
The Battle Abbey is the abbey that was attached to the battleground. Hence why the village is called Battle. But it has a really, really interesting abbey there. You can do a ghost walk in the night. They take you around and talk about the battlefield and how sometimes when they're locking up the abbey, they see soldiers in the field across from them. And if you're ever out in Kent area that way, well worth going for a wander around. But they have ghost tours around Battle Abbey, and say me and Jen did it. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting tour. You know, very knowledgeable people. They tell you about the battles and you know things that they've seen and that's happened there. And you know they used to lock up on their own. Now they look up in 5 or 6 of them because they've been so scared because they've seen things, and they lock up in a group rather than singular now. But that's a very interesting place to go on a ghost walk. I mean, the other interesting one we did was in Guildford with Darren and all the others.
Yeah.
We did a ghost walk there, Paula, and that was really interesting. It's, obviously, Guildford is very, very haunted. You know, and people out there watching this, you know, I highly recommend going on these ghost walks, you know, to Guildford. I think there's one called Brighton Lanes where they do take you around the old lanes of Brighton.
Yeah.
Which is another one I'd like to organise and get us to go there, all of us. If anybody's up for that, you know, I'll try and get hold of them. Like I set up the Guildford one, didn't I, Angela? Got us all there, and really interesting. He was quite funny, the guy doing it, very funny guy, but very interesting location, Guildford. You know, very, very haunted. So, you know, we could do the Brighton one, you know, the old Brighton lanes, because he does groups, and you can have a meal before, and then go on your ghost tour after your meal.
Yeah.
You know, we could try and organise something like that for all of us. But obviously, you need to get numbers together like we did at Guildford and get confirmed numbers. You know, you don't want people dropping in and out all the time because you have to give them confirmed numbers. If you say to them, you got 15 people, you pay for 15, whether you take 10. You know, you have to pay that because that's what you agreed to. So, you know, you have to have confirmed people pay. So I think last time we took a deposit, I think myself and Darren were taking deposits and doing it that way. So people paid a deposit and they would have to go. I think it was about 10 quid or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
It wasn't much. It's about £10 or something. And you're out, what, an hour and a half, maybe?
Yeah, about that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, not a great deal of time, but you wander around and they share about old houses and where so-and-so would have been hung. And, you know, this is a very famous street for this happening and very interesting. So the old Brighton Lanes would probably be somewhere I'd like to go.
Highland Cemetery does that quite a lot in the daytime. tell you history. I've been once and it was quite good.
Oh,
Basically,
all right.
around, and then they show you all around the graves and who's buried there and blah blah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was very good. Do you know what I
And
mean?
where's
They
that?
take you on
Highgate.
Highland Cemetery
Oh,
in South,
Highland.
down in Winchester Road. They do it
Oh,
now and
okay.
then. They do a tour around it. I've been once. It's quite good. Do you know what I mean?
All
So
right.
telling the history of it, all the people died there and everything else.
Yeah,
So,
it's like Christine was saying about Highgate
yeah,
Cemetery. You know, there's
yeah,
lots of famous people buried in there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
although you can't go obviously near their catacombs or whatever, but
No,
I think they only open it twice a year for
yeah,
the public to want to be led around. You know, it's a group tour, but you know that would be an interesting place to take a group and see what you pick up there. Right. I think Paula's going to have to go in a sec. So
yeah. Because I'll see if they're not gotten asleep on the floor.
yeah, pull up the sleeping
moaning
bags
at
and they've
me.
gone off to sleep.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
in the
We,
bed. Yes.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. It's been interesting. Thank you for the comments, Gemma, Christine, and whoever's watching. You know, if you have a bucket list you want us to read and look through, please send it in. You know, we do review the videos after, and we do look back at the live, make sure that we've got all the comments, and we can answer your comments. You know, if there's somewhere that you think we would enjoy investigating, please let us know. You know, we're not out here to steal venues. We're not out here to do anything. We're just, you know, a paranormal group that's a family, and that's what we are. We're part of the PP Unified Paranormal Investigators, and we're part of the Great British Ghost Hunters. So we're all a team, and we're all together in this, not just us, all of us. So it only remains for me to say, have a very, very safe week this week. Be careful out there, and I will be on the live from where am I? Hampshire on Monday. I'm off on holiday to Hampshire to my van, so we'll be live streaming from the caravan. Hopefully, we get a signal. So that's where I'll be next week. So it only remains for me to say thank you for tuning in to us tonight. It's a bit brief and short, but you know, some of us are suffering, some of us got jobs to do, and some have got sore throats and whatever. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on. And everybody, you have a safe week out there, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.